I've been doing presentations and writing reports on budgets for the best part of 20 years. And I think it's fair to say there's more content in this budget than any of those other budgets. It's quite an interesting budget, a lot of detail. What I plan to do today is to walk through some of the key changes in relation to corporates, whether they be big or small corporates, and also go through the personal tax cuts. The first change I want to deal with is the carry back of losses. If you make losses in the 19-20 income year, 20-21 income year, or 21-22 income year, you can carry those losses back and effectively get a refund of tax that you've paid for the 18-19 year or subsequent income years. There's a couple of traps. Firstly, the key threshold applies with businesses of turnover of up to and including $5 billion. And the other important factor is that you cannot put your franking account into a deficit. So if you have already paid out profits and you have a small franking account balance, that will limit the quantum of losses that you can actually carry back and the refunds you'll be able to achieve under these rules. The second thing I want to talk about is changes in relation to depreciation. As we all know, we've previously had immediate write-offs of depreciable plant up to $150,000. Those rules will continue to apply for businesses that have turnover of less than $5 billion, provided the plant is acquired after today, so after the 6th of October 2020, and installed ready for use before the 30th of June 2022. The added piece here is if the business has a turnover of less than $50,000, it can apply these rules in relation to second-hand plant, not just new plant. And just a reminder, the accelerated depreciation that was announced in the mid-year update in July does apply for any plant acquired after the 12th of March 2020 and installed ready for use before the 30th of June 2021. Now, that accelerated depreciation allows you to claim a higher rate of depreciation, up to 50% more than the rate you would have otherwise claimed. The next corporate tax change that's worth noting is there's been a bit of confusion and indeed, let's say, change of law in relation to residency of companies that have been incorporated offshore. And in particular, I'm talking about the Bywater case. So the government is going to clean up the rules around Bywater. So they're now going to ensure that in order to be Australian resident, you've got to have both your core commercial activities based in Australia as well as your central management and control. So a little bit of work needed around what core commercial activities are, but it's good to see they're clarifying the law in this space. The last thing I'd like to talk about is the personal tax cuts. Now, I will specifically look at my notes here to make sure I don't get the numbers wrong, because it's pretty important. People want to know how much money they're going to get in their pocket each and every week. So as we know, last year the government announced stage 2 and stage 3 tax cuts. There was some speculation that they would both be accelerated. Stage 3 tax cuts have not been accelerated. They will still apply from 1 July 2024, but the stage 2 tax cuts have been accelerated. Now, what the government's done here is they haven't changed the tax rates, but they have changed the taxable income levels at which the rates cut in. So just checking those numbers to make sure I get it right. Tax-free threshold remains at $18,200. The 19% tax rate, rather than cutting in at $32,500, that now cuts in at $45,000. The 37% tax rate cuts in at $120,000 rather than $90,000, and the 45% tax rate remains at $180,000. Now, what does that mean in terms of how much tax is taken out and how many dollars do I get in my pocket each week? To give you a rough idea, if you're earning $50,000 a year, it means about $1,000 a year. So about $20 a week in your pocket. If you're earning in excess of $120,000, the saving is about $2,500. So that's about $50 a week in your pocket. I hope that's been helpful. Please visit the BDO website if you would like any more information on these and other changes.